Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get into my speech proper, I need to get a bit of a vibe check. So I'm going to crack a joke, and depending on your reaction to that joke, the rest of my speech will follow.
Okay.
The reason I chose this topic, sport, the ultimate theatre, is because what other topic would I select? With an imposing sporting physique like mine, it just matches the theme now, doesn't it? Just tepid laughter. Wow, it's a polite audience. That's great.
Chess.
Perfect. So I'm not going to go the route of hooliganism. I instead will talk about passion. I'll talk about inspiration and give you a boring speech. But before I get into this theme, the topic, I want to share a story with you. A story about a performance I was audience to quite recently. It was in the theatre. How many of you are theatre enthusiasts over here? Show of hands. A few. How many of you like watching the cinema? Wonderful. So this story was both audience to in the theatre as well as in the cinema because of how inspiring this tale is. So let me give you a small tryst with this story. It's about a young boy born thousands of miles away from where we are at right now. At age 5, he met his childhood sweetheart, soon to be his future wife. Never saw another woman the same way again. But that was only his first love. He did have a second one, and that was with the theatre. He grew up seeing Shakespeare, seeing theatre performances one after the other, riveting, enthralling, and he soon desired to be the greatest showman on earth. His performances, his tales, soon got audience to not just people around him, but people around the world. At age 13, he was recruited by a theatre group in Europe, flown down there to apprentice with some of the best theatre groups in the world. Slowly but steadily, this boy became a child wonder, touted to be the next big thing. And next big thing he was. One after the other, he delivered one riveting performance, one enthralling performance, one captivating performance, and again, fans and plaudits from all around the world. But his legacy was not yet sealed. Because in order to be known as the greatest showman on earth, he had to win the top prize in show business. The top theatre world champion. That is what he aspired to be. Year on year, he would gather his theatre group and deliver one performance after the other, hoping to attain this top prize. Yet, the top prize always evaded him. He would come close on a few occasions, but never really get his hands on the prize. And while his legacy as a showman was intact, his aspiration to be the greatest showman on earth was now put to question. If you can't win the top prize, are you really the greatest showman? He not only got these questions from others or his friends, but also from himself. He often wondered, if I don't win, will I not be remembered as the greatest showman? Will all of this effort, with all of this passion, go in vain? This question he carried with him throughout his career. One morning, he woke up realizing that this was his last shot. There were younger, fresher blood in the race, and if he doesn't win this top prize on this occasion, it was done. So once again, he gathered his group, spoke inspiring words, told them to just express themselves, and this time around, they would have a championship run. In the lead up to this tournament, they went from country to country, delivering performance after performance, gaining more fans than they already had. They were driven to win the top prize on this occasion. When the championships arrived, all of a sudden, even the smallest of theatre groups from God knows nowhere was giving them a run for their money. And again, the questions came. Is he really the greatest showman on earth? Is he all hype? But he's soon shutting all of those questions down. One after the other, he went into combat with different theatre groups and won the audiences over. to the point where they were the favorites in the championship final. And they performed like favorites. For the first half of the dueling performances, there was no question that our hero would win the championship. But as the bell rang for the second half, suddenly the top performer from the other side delivered a riveting performance, one that the world had captured. And again, the questions came. Was he finally going to succumb to the fact that he's not the greatest showman on earth? No. In the fleeting moments of his performance, he dug deep, went back to who he was, his story as a 5-year-old aspiring to be the greatest showman on earth, and delivered the greatest performance ever seen, finally winning that top prize. Ladies and gentlemen, this story is not of a theatre actor or a film actor. It's the story of one Lionel Messi, who after years of peril finally won that World Cup to be declared the greatest footballer on earth. Now all you Cristiano fans, don't come running after me. It's just my subjective opinion. But the whole point of this story is to tell you how close sport is to theatre. In fact, it is the ultimate theatre. Because unlike a theatrical performance, sport is unscripted. You don't know what's going to happen next. Your hero might not be hero to someone else, but that's what makes it beautiful. Because we all have the ability to write that script as a sportsman or a sportswoman. We have to recognize the fact that sometimes we fail. Sometimes victory might not even be the way it seems. Unsuccessful sportsmen become great coaches, support staff for sportsmen and women in the future. Which is why I think that sport is even better than theatre. Because while theatre comprises of stories about life, sport mimics life itself. I will leave you with a parting thought. Live your life like a sportsman, so that long after you're done and gone, stories about you will play in theatres around the world. Thank you.